There's some business around town that was called Specialty and Sons. We always loved the fact that they kind of got the wording of that terminology wrong. Like, not necessarily wrong, but just different. You know, it wasn't a last name in Sons, it was an adjective in Sons instead. So I like the idea of making something that has the worst name, but trying to make it look as nice as possible. Veneer is all this, super thin stuff. People use it to make anything. You'll see a lot of like high-end furniture with fancy wood veneer facing and stuff like that. So I just knew that if I got the shit that they use just for like decorative purposes mostly, that it's so thin that it's just on there as an 8th layer, you know, it's still regular 7-ply maple deck, but that layer is so thin it's not really changing the feel or the structure of the board. I mean, it's all too expensive to make a skateboard out of anyhow, really. So you got to pick whatever. Like this, I can get 3 boards out of 1 sheet exactly. So you're not like anything that doesn't come up where you're like this one. This is all extra, so I'm paying per square inch for this extra chunk of shit.
Dude, there has to be something back here. You spend 45 minutes unstacking a shelf, and then when you pull it out. Oh, that's not good enough. I don't know. Okay, I gotta leave.
You want me to take half of that? No. If there's 100 different types of veneer somewhere, then maybe 5 they'll have that are large enough to actually cover a board. You're like laying it in there blind. You don't really know exactly where once it gets pressed, where it's all going to end up. So Justin up at Penswood presses the boards, actually like does the layups of the wood. He's got really good at just laying them in there and knowing exactly where it's going to hit in the press. I had pieces that were just barely big enough to cover a board. I don't know how the hell he did that. Hello. I'm picking out wood at the wood shop. For those little boards, how much play do you say we could have side to side? I'm looking at a piece of wood that's fucking cool as shit, and it's like 6 3/8 wide at the widest point. And I really want to buy it. My dad always had like a lot of woodworking tools in the garage growing up, and he would use it to make like fancy little boxes with, you know, inlays and fancy woods. But yeah, no, it was always around our house, and wood books, just reading through those and stuff like that to, you know, learn about all the different kinds of wood.
What is this?
You're right.
I was right, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, Babinga, Wenge. Yeah. This is
Brazilian rosewood.
Brazilian rosewood, okay. And then this is you?
Yeah.
Burl is, it's actually a disease of the tree. Like when you see a tree that has one of those big tumorous lumps on it, it's hard to work with because it's, you know, the grain's growing in a million different directions. So it's brittle and will break apart easily because it can, instead of only being, you know, if you had the grain going this way, it's susceptible to break along the grain. But since the grain's going everywhere, it's susceptible to break all over the place. This wood, I don't know what the wood is, but it's spalted, which I always like spalted wood. It's, spalted is if where a tree falls and it sits long enough, it starts to absorb, when it gets wet, it starts to absorb chemicals that are in the ground. And then you'll end up with these, as it evaporates back out, you'll end up with these black rings, like where the height of where the moisture went to or what have you. So I like spalted wood because you end up with stuff that doesn't necessarily follow the grain of the wood. Like this one's actually pretty close, but. Man, that's a big tree.
Yeah, very big. Honestly, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I had a shitty night last night, and I don't really want to search for it. So I'm gonna find something that looks like it. I can do that. I guess it's alright if I like write the tax over here.
I don't care where it is. Okay. So long as you can just put a total on there, as far as I give a shit.
Oh, all right. Okay, you're looking at $6.63 per sheet. Yeah.
If you feel strongly about what you're making and you like what you're making and you allow yourself to get lost in the process of making it, then the end result has something in it that people like, whether they know that that's why they like it or not. And I think like that's the intangible element that to me separates good art from bad art, or good design from bad design, is something that was made honestly.
See? That your Corvair out there?
Yeah.
What year is that?
63.
Oh, man. Where'd you find it?
I bought it off a guy in Canada across the border from Seattle. Drove it down the California coast and all the way home.
Holy hell. Damn. Hell of a trip.
Yeah, it's nice. A little nerve-wracking at times.